Hi everyone, welcome back to Minecraft. So, I want to start off with saying that I think I'm going to reduce the amount of uploads onto YouTube because I don't want to get extremely burnt out on Minecraft. So, there's that. And two, I feel like it would probably be better if I just let videos sit a little longer than just a day. So, I'm just gonna start uploading every other day. That's about it. And that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna upload every other day and see that because I've been noticing that this channel's been having a major decline in views and all of that. So I want to get that back up and going and if we can get let's see if we can get this channel rolling again. Because I think everyone wants to be a YouTuber in some way, shape, or form, right? I want to be a YouTuber. You want to what the it, the Burning Man has come. Let's discuss what I was doing earlier. I was playing Call of Duty. That's what I was doing. I was playing Call of Duty earlier. Cold War. Cold War. I was doing a lot of Onslaught because I want to level up guns, farm camos. That's about it. And I mean, Onslaught I don't think is as bad as people said it was, but it was okay. Nothing special. I think what they needed to do with Onslaught was just make it a little bit more engaging, like redesign some, remove certain objectives, add more, and redesign certain aspects. And I think it would have been far more loved. I really do. I think it would have been far more loved if Onslaught wasn't the way it is right now. Because right now it's really hard to get into Onslaught for a lot of people. I managed to somewhat get into it. I think it's a little fun. Like I like the open idea of an open world Call of Duty Zombies type thing. But I don't really like Onslaught objective stuffs. Like I like the idea of being rewarded for doing certain things, but I don't know. It feels like if they should have just dropped us on the Warzone map and called it. Not necessarily what they did with Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, I think. What did they exactly do? I don't know. I never played Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. I think they did like what I suggest is like, no, that's more. Wasn't that more like an extraction shooter? Is like, man, I don't know. I don't play extraction shooters. I'm not a fan of those. So I don't really know what Treyarch was trying to do with Vanguard though, because Vanguard, I gotta say it's not very good. I liked Shinonuma Reborn. I didn't really like the other maps because the objective base is just nonsensical to me. I know this is coming from someone who somewhat enjoyed Onslaught, but I didn't really like the objective-based mode of Vanguard Zombies. Plus, I hated what they did to all the World War One, World War Two guns. My precious World War Two guns. What did they do to them? But no. I didn't like that. I don't like having a gunsmith for a World War Two game. There shouldn't be a gunsmith because there's no attachments for World War Two guns, really. Okay, yeah, there are technically some experimental sights, and sometimes a gun can suppress, but a lot of the times the reason why those suppressed guns happen is because they needed to be machined to be suppressed, and you can't really detach the suppressor. Contrary to what World War II shows, it's like Call of Duty World War II showed is like, no, you can't really detach it. If the suppressor is on, it's pretty much staying on. You cannot detach that thing. At least for World War II. Modern day, you can detach that suppressor whenever the hell you want. You just twist it on. No. For World War II, no. You can't really do that because I think those things are like machined on, have to be machined on, and okay, and it's like really difficult to really detach them is more like it's what I should be saying. It's not that it's impossible, it's just not really ideal. So you shouldn't be detaching the suppressor. Also don't like that Sledgehammer, I feel like it's the worst Call of Duty developer when it comes to like actually researching how guns work. I feel like they are really good when it comes to finding bizarre prototype type guns, but I when it comes to actually figuring out how that actually work or play and everything, they're the worst. Like they're actually the worst. They actually don't understand nothing. This is why you get curse abominations all constantly in World War II and Vanguard, which shouldn't happen. Like I think Sledgehammer does not understand that World War II barely has any attachments, and the few that do are like experimental or were kind of just for mounted plane guns, you know, like the door gunners. Yeah, those special sights that you see on some of the World War II, Call of Duty World War II guns. Fucking hell. Yeah, those sights were probably designed for aerial combat, not ground combat. So yeah, they kind of messed up. I feel like Sledgehammer messes up on a lot of their research, well, quote unquote research, because I feel like they do worse when it comes to anything involving history than Treyarch. Treyarch actually I feel like does a better job overall when it comes to historical research. I would still say even if it's modern day Infinity Ward, I'd still say Infinity Ward does way better than Sledgehammer. Sledgehammer, I would say they do the worst. I feel like Sledgehammer also runs into the problem where it's like, I don't really like the writing for some of their campaigns. It just feels too generic-y. I still remember how goofy the Advanced Warfare campaign was. Like, when you start, it was like, oh, it was a good first time round. Then you play it and you start putting thought behind it. It's like, oh, this story is just kind of mediocre overall because a character in full-blown, what do they call it? An exosuit? Yeah, character in a full-blown exosuit that they shown one guy actually fighting like one guy in the exosuit fighting like four regular dudes. Like, they didn't have an exosuit on. He was just fighting four regular dudes, everyday ordinary dudes that you can probably pick up from the street and hang out with. That kind of dude. They were just dudes, and, well, they were soldiers still, but no, he was just fighting four of them, and he was beating them to pieces, and then all of a sudden, this chick in an exosuit can't take down one dude. For some reason, the one dude can put up one hell of a fight. There's also the goofy part where for some reason Irons is just evil now. It's like, oh yeah, he does a lot of good things, and now he's suddenly just evil. He's just now evil. Why? Why did he become evil? Okay, granted, he is being played by Kevin Spacey. But even then, it's like, dude is just suddenly evil. It was like, he's fucking evil now. It was just out of the blue. I don't get it. I really don't get it. It's like one of those goofy moments in Call of Duty history. It's like, oh, he's just evil now. I think another campaign that's like kind of goofy in a weird way is like Ghost. Is like, I think someone's gonna be like a defender for Ghost in the comments saying, "Oh, it wasn't that goofy." It's like, "Oh, it was. Listen to how bad some of the voice acting was, and it gets goofy real fast." Oh, and then you have to think about the nonsensical story. Yes, I know the orbital bombardment is actually a real weapon system. Well, a real theoretical weapon system that I think it was the U.S. government that was developing it. But yeah, it was a real theoretical weapon system that was being developed, and hello, everyone kind of was, I think, interested. Well, I think it was classified for a little bit before they came out and said, nah, we're not doing it. Because actually, I don't know what reason. They weren't even like nuclear weapons or anything. They were just tungsten rods. That's all they were. So if you guys go replay the Call of Duty Ghost campaign and a little bit of Black Ops 2, or rewatched G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, just think, that little projectile, yeah, that's just tungsten. That's just a pure tungsten rod that gets shot at like, oh, I think it was like Mach 11 or something like that. It goes fast. It goes real fast. Like, that's all it is. It's just a thing of tungsten that gets shot at the Earth at very high velocities, and it deals about similar levels to a nuclear bomb. Similar levels of damage, I should say, to a nuclear bomb. Like that. That's all it does. That's literally all it does. It's like a little space station, like you saw in Call of Duty Ghost. A little space station that's just gonna orbit Earth, and it's going to shoot a literal tungsten rod at like Mach 10 or something like that into Earth, and it's going to deal about the same level of devastation to, well, not the most powerful nuclear bomb, but it's like a fourth of the power of a nuclear bomb or something like that. It's still devastating, but the thing about it that makes it really good, I think, is that it can penetrate into like buried bunkers and all that. So that's like one of the things that makes it very interesting to a lot of people out there that looks into these things. Is like, oh, okay, it's like theoretical. It's theoretical though, by the way. No one's ever put one of those in space. It's purely theoretical. Supposedly it can penetrate bunkers, but that's about, or underground bunkers, I should say. But nah, that's about all we can come up with. It's theoretical. never was tried. What never was tried in reality. It's like one of those things that I don't know. It's just we never tried it. So yeah, remember the next time you play Call of Duty Ghosts or watch Cobra, it literally is just a tungsten rod that's just getting shot into the earth. It really is cool. I plus its nickname is fucking awesome. It's literally called the Rods from God, and I gotta say that is like the most badass nickname you can give a weapons platform ever. I don't think anyone can deny that. That is like the most badass nickname you can come up with. It's like, damn, if only it was real. Well, probably shouldn't be real, but if only it was, probably wouldn't be as scary as we think. But hey, you never know. Supposedly it should be. It should be. It's like it's not necessarily a meteor strike, but it should be scary. And I think that's what's really fun about Call of Duty Ghosts is that it shows this theoretical weapon off into extreme degrees and how potentially a very not exactly strong coalition, not exactly a strong coalition of different nations could actually take on the United States of America by simply bombing a bunch of America's bases in towns and all that. For some reason, towns. Why towns? No reason to attack a town, actually. But no. It's like straight up, you just attack America's infrastructure and you can somewhat try to invade America, though granted, what were they called in Ghost again? Like nationals or something like that? I forget. Yeah, no, like they tried, but then they get stuck in the ground war for like forever, and America just fights back, and we just managed to hold out our own, and I think we pretty much won at the end of Call of Duty Ghosts. It's like we pretty much wipe out their army fleets, took over their super weapon. It's ours now. Yeah, well then again, we also had the super weapon at the start of the campaign, and well, when I mean we, I mean America. America has the super weapon at the start of the campaign, gets taken over, we destroy it, they build a new one. Well, a bunch of new ones. It's like how many was it? Like 30 or something like that. They built a bunch of new ones and yeah, and they almost tried to take over do the same thing that we saw at the beginning. I don't know. It's enjoyable to a certain degree. Just don't think about the plot too much because it starts getting nonsensical real quickly, especially when you factor in that the story for the ghost is like, oh, it's supposed to set up this really badass, basically badass set of soldiers that uses stealth and ambush tactics to win fights rather than a straight up confrontation, which really does sound kind of cool. Like then again, that's just pretty much special forces, isn't it? It's just a special force group that's like called the Ghost that basically fights like a ghost or pretty much kind of like a supernatural entity or something like that. Oh, it's just one of those goofy little things about Call of Duty that it's just fun. You know, it's just fun. It really is. I do enjoy the Call of Duty games. I just don't like Activision is the problem. I don't like Activision as a company. If you look into it, you'll see why. I'm not gonna say why, but I'm just gonna say I don't like Activision as a company, but I like the Call of Duty games. I really do. I really like the Call of Duty games. I just don't like Activision. I think there was a couple of other Activision games that I actually enjoyed. What was that one science fiction game that had time travel? Singularity? Yeah, I enjoyed that one. That one was fun. It was enjoyable. Not my favorite of the bunch, but the story was actually kind of decent in a weird way, you know. And sure, it has plot holes and all that, but that's typical of time travel stories. I don't know. It's like I think even Timefall has that problem when they introduced their time travel mission, where it's like, oh yeah, there's gonna be plot holes and how the fuck does one dude cause all this mayhem and all that? It's like, nah, it's just time travel, you know. That's the explanation of why time travel. I think that's what people don't like about time travel stories. It's like it's always comes down to the same. It's like it's either they go way overboard with the explanation on how fucking time travel works in their universe, like Marvel did, and then immediately contradicted later into the movie, or they go with a basic mainstream of, oh yeah, you can change if you change the past, you change the future. Don't change the fucking past because you don't know what was going to happen. Maybe the Nazis were win World War II. Well, that would be a bad timeline for everyone. So let's not do that. You know, butterfly effect. You know, the smallest little detail that just gets moved or something like that. Suddenly, huge repercussions happen, and now we have to fix it. Oh God, I think even Doctor Who goes into this idea a lot. It's like, oh yeah, I can't change fixed timelines because if I do, repercussions happen and bad things are abound and all that. Oh, I don't know. It's weird. It always happens with science fiction that tries to do time travel. I think even Star Trek falls into that into that void. Same goes for Stargate. It's like they fall into that void of we can't interact with the past because we don't actually know what's going to happen. I know some people say that, oh, well, you can interact with the past because as soon as you time travel, you create a new parallel universe. So for those who's confused, it's like here's how it works. Say you are from this timeline, right? This is your original timeline. This is where you are from. Now, normally in a lot of time travel stories, whatever happens in your timeline, whatever happens, you can check. If you time travel back and you change literally anything in the past, your future is basically gone. Your timeline is now gone. It no longer exists. Now for the that's typically what a lot of time travel stories do, right? Just that. Now say that this is now we go to another theory. Say this is your timeline again, right? But instead, if you go travel back in time, instead of going back in time and in the same timeline, right? You go to a different timeline where now if you change anything in that past, it will not impact your timeline. And part of the reason why I don't like that literally tool is that it just feels like they want to avoid consequences. They don't want the consequences of potentially fucking up the future. It's an actual scientific theory, but it's like at that point, I think scientists just wanted to travel back in time and not feel any consequences at all. Now, if we actually do get the Doctor in real life, that would be pretty funny because he would definitely tell the scientists to go, no, this is how time travel works. It does this, and this, and you're actually completely and utterly wrong about time travel. You're actually stupid with this multi. It's either you're stupid with the parallel universe thing, or rather multiple timeline thing, or you're stupid with the idea of going back and changing the past thing, or it works completely differently and we don't actually know because currently we cannot really travel backwards in time, right? We can only travel forward. So currently we cannot travel backwards, just forwards. I know time travel is messy, right? It's like we talk about time travel and all that. And it's like, oh man, and then it becomes a literary device, and I don't know. A lot of time travel stories tend to be messy or just too confusing, making going, well, did they pay attention or something like that, or did they miss some key element? It's like, what was the time travel movie where the dude goes back in time and meets himself, then goes back in further in time, but to show off that he wasn't originally a dude at first. He was like a what do they call it? Well, he was a chick, but he had dude parts, is what I'm saying. Like that's what he was. He was a they had a word for it, but I forget what it was. But no, yeah, he had like a birth defect that made it to where he was a chick with dude parts, and it showed well, no, it started off with him telling his story and how he became a dude over time, and then all of a sudden, like, his future self comes back in time and recruits him into a time agency, and then they go on wacky shenanigans, and somehow our main protagonist has sex with their younger female self, and then they have a baby. First off, I want to ask a question. If you do that, does that count as masturbation? And second off, disgusting. Like, why? That's got to be some level of narcissism, right? Just go back in time, have fucking sex with yourself, and then have a baby. Which explains why the baby has a defect. And here's my question is, okay, yeah, we now know that they were originally a chick that became a dude. Well, rather, they were a chick with dude parts, but because they had the baby, they had to become the dude because all the chick parts kind of broke. So this is my question. Because of how that form of time travel works, there needs to be a point where that dude needs to be created without becoming a chick, or rather needs to be born first. So it begs the question of who were his parents originally. And same thing goes for like John Connor. It's like, oh yeah, we all know the story of Terminator, right? John Connor, Terminator. One day the machines will rise up, try to wipe out all humanity. They get close. Event happens called Judgment Day, where most of the human population is wiped out, and the few that survived have to fight basically a giant robot army, or we all die. I think we all know that, right? And then, of course, there's the lead savior, John Connor. Not the other chick. No. We're not talking about her. Fuck her. She's not John Connor. We're talking about John Connor. Now, as we know, John Connor's father is Kyle Reese, right? Kyle Reese, right? So, and his mother, Sarah Connor. Here's the little problem that we run into. Kyle Reese is from the future, and he went back in time because the Terminators were losing. Skynet was losing the war, so they sent the Terminator back in time to assassinate John Connor's mother, Sarah Connor. And since Skynet had no idea who the father was, because Kyle Reese was basically expunged from all records, so they didn't know who the father was, they go back in time and try to go after the mother. Here's the thing. This is the thing that I want to get asked. Because Kyle Reese goes back in time, and obviously because he's the father of John Connor, he clearly has sex with Sarah Connor, and then they have John. This is the question I want to know. If John Connor, if the event of the Terminator going back in time is what created John Connor, was there a John Connor at the beginning of the timeline stuff, of the time travel stuff, or was he created because I think it was said by the original creator of Terminator that there is in fact a universe where a timeline where Skynet did in fact win and wiped out humanity but feels lonely. Could it be possible that Skynet decided to go, you know what, I'm going to clone a single human being. He's going to go back in time. He's going to have sex with this woman named Sarah Connor, and they're going to have a child. That child is then going to get born into the resistance and create the human resistance so that the Skynet does not feel alone anymore. Basically, Skynet's going, you know what, I regret my choices. I'm going to stop myself from winning the war. So I think that's probably what, like, could that be possible, right? At all? Or could it be possible that the original John Connor, the one from the start of Terminator 1, is different from the John Connor, Kyle Reese, and Sarah Connor created? Could it be possible that happened? That John Connor actually does have a father that was not Kyle Reese? I don't know. I really don't know. But then that asks the question of, how did John Connor rally everyone? Is he a soldier? What happened? I don't know. That's one of the fun parts about Terminator, right? Is like, yeah, there is a timeline that apparently Skynet did win the war, and it might be lonely or something like that. I don't remember what it was, but anyway, I'm gonna have to end the episode here. So we are starting now. I think I'm gonna upload every other day, and mainly this is one so I feel less burnt out from Minecraft and all that, and the YouTube channel and editing and all that. And two, this is probably gonna help videos get a little bit more traction going. So I hope to see you guys in the next one now. Bye now.